Mayam Bukramzari adon English Impact News ne NONGTHOMBAM Manung Hutna hariba 360-degree analysis of news and events ta Mayam Butram Nokchari Ngarang Khwairaman Kaithel Imphal da Kaithel asida Pod Yunzari ba Ima Singh na Manipur gi Anauba Chief Minister NONGTHOMBAM Biren Singh bu op gi tharamda Chief Minister na Phongdokki wafam tha khodingi la koi tang tara manga si MEEYAM gi NUMIT People's Day haiduna MEEYAM ga unabagi koi gi NUMIT amo onthokani habagi wafam phongdokki ba aduga hariba wafam asi taseng order mathoga thu matamda MEEYAM da khangalakani habagi wafam sing phongdokki blere maruina People's Day habisi karino masida MEEYAM na karamba mongda government asiga tathok tasin tanogeduna MEEYAM gi complaints sing MEEYAM gi suggestions sing awab sing sekramna yohangaduri bano taseng na NUMIT asi kari wagiduna habisi matang da khana ne bidung si Impact News ki studio dang sendro lebire basi joining us tonight on Manung Hutna government asigi Chief Whip at the same time Chief Minister gisu advisor obiriba aduga Moirang Assembly constituency ki MLA su obiriba oja P SHARATCHANDRA Singh ne hamta to oja P SHARATCHANDRA Butram Nokchari welcome to the show appreciate your joining.
Thank you very much.
And also joining us Human Rights Alert HRA Manipur ki Executive Director obiriba oja BABLOO LOITONGBAM ni oja BABLOO Butram Nokchari welcome to the show appreciate your joining too. And also joining us Manipur University ke Department of Economics ke Professor Dr. C.H. PRIYORANJAN ni oja PRIYORANJAN Butram Nokchari welcome to the show appreciate your joining too.
Thank you.
Ado ahan ba question se koi government dagi mihut amasu yawbiramni oja SHARATCHANDRA dagi han haujarage oja People's Day tha khoding ki tarik tara manga da masi thong hangdokani MEEYAM ge damakta haiduna ngarang Chief Minister ge wafam phongdokhibe lere masi taseng order masu tholokini hari formal oina masi karam kanda ko tholoktono masi ge damata kari kari arrangement to wirabage masi karam mongda masi operate to godam isam sambeda modus operandi se komai ogeda no kitang haibi
Chief Minister na ngarang thamkribo wafam se it's sort of a politics of hope fiber MEEYAM da asha piba adu makal ge rajniti ni masi more or less India ki Prime Minister Narendra Modi na piba hope and aspirations yam na inclusive oiba mawongda punamaksi chaukat minagadabani maruda sectarian oiba mawong nataba amasung strata tongan bada leiriba different categories da leiba mi khuding makse level playing field ma create tore kanda aikoi shasan togani aduga inclusive growth porakani haiba aduge agenda duni aikoi politics of democracy haina soi koi nainarak pamatamda prajagi shasan haibasi it reflects popular sovereignty haidi prajana aikoi masigi mapuni haiba shasan torisigi mapuni haiba but again popular sovereignty se koi interpretation torakanda practical sense ta koi nainarakanda yengba matamda it's a collective identity ni people have porse popular sovereignty se aduna makoina institution sarkar gi leriba institution mayam sige medium sida makoina penetrate torera kanda makoi gi aspirations hope makoi gi power si sovereign power si nava yabra yadabra haiba port sige madugi mayam amakak lakpasina maram orera kanda hojikte 18th century gi later part gi lakhiba democracy gi anouba mayon makak lakriba sida maruda Benjamin Franklin na hairami se anouba numit na mathoega hairami se madudagi 21st century da hojik Narendra Modi amasung aikoi gi Manipur gi Chief Minister na hairiba porsi mayam da hope piba adudi consultation gi mechanism amakak device to ba maksangi moi gi hopes and aspiration do convey to na yana bagi phongdok pa yana na bagi forum amakak platform amakak provide to ba makak sangi adu arbor de once in a month 15th of every month hari ise masida all sections of the society siga makoi ga unarakanda makoi ga grievances makoi ga hope makoi ga desire punamak mayamasi political executive singsina taraba matungda again aikoi gi other bureaucracy gi mioi singna boirasu planners singna boirasu matang tare kanda policy process makak pork payana bagi adugi podaduni now it will be in place very soon ngarang da announce to ba magi thought process makak mayam da express to bani
adu boja hariba thongsi hangdorpa targadi Chief Minister ministers amadi atai bureaucrats plus SP gi office hobo thong hangdor targadi MEEYAM si Manipur gi makai khodimak tagi hata 360-degree dagi loi thomjanaraga isai sagi complaints loi pusunak targadi mase garma deal tabodagi habagi yam chawba chaos amadi adai da dum mami haipe tagum tawi adai duni uja masi karama mongda masi operator katagi na
aikoi masi gumba system masi hodok sena haibe tarbu di madugi parameters krai koina akoi formulate torkani adu torade kande every Tom, Dick and Harry 27 lakh people of the state laga hekta crowd am form torkanda moi expression du ekoina tagani amasung grievance me am du tani haiba pot natte so na mechanism ka process ma ka ekoina madu prescribe torkini government sina madu pawdi ekoi ngai ki beta
okay mechanism ama lakini habani adubu hojik phawbi oiba stage da di yamna government si participatory form of government da yamna thawai yoba mali every policy na ka decision sida ko miyam gisu role ama play to honing bagi mami chauna tari matang sai sida ko gi leba sigi probably han bo ina Delhi government have the chief minister Arvind Kejriwal na mohalla sabha haidana thani gi manung da amumuk toroga ko lekai da ko gi miyam gi complaint lo bagi program gum mati chatha khibal re madu gi line da so happen mangum tawi so sida masina kadai phau ba effectively miyam gi suggestion miyam gi kholau complaint mayam si natraga miyam gi apamba mayam si policy natraga governance da reflect obangam ni masi kadai phau ba phaba khongta amni lobi oza bablu dalak chagi
yam chumi the sing na ngasai honorable advisor na su thambi hi badumaina democracy he se miyam gi lengak ni ado mi loinamak chief minister oi badiati mi loinamak MLA oi badiati aduna definitely miyam gi leidiba interest miyam gi leidiba issues se kamain tawdana political executive sina hariba pot siga nakna chatminagadagi haisani participatory democracy ise matamumda procedural democracy na vote thada raga chahi manga MLA oi raga mantri oi raga checkpan wang khagalaga guard toroga khumjalaga ekta leigibagi pot se khoi yam suffocating oi bagi pot se mayam na hanjan thengnare aduna handaki anoba sarkar na innovative oi ba ideas khara tawraga kamai tawdana prajaga mabu govern tawriba kano sing siga akhoi government pairiba political executive sigagi gap si handana nabagi effort ama thogle haibadi clearly ure adung ko madung sai tapi rebu maina kamaina operationalize tawrakadagi haiduni uri ba question de aduna tangai phadana akhoina sum procedural democracy nataba substantive democracy ama ohensi haiba targadi taseng na praja miyam gi interest si govern tawri mi sing na tahon sai targadi nahalaitana dialogue tawbuse darkar ni aduna tha khudingi sumaina allocate tawdana thambiri si yam phai tawbudabu ngasagi form da yam malaga hayeng substance yaudragadi adusu solakadobuni na hayeng madugi substance work out tawbira ko matamda khara phajana tawbira ko darkar oi tasengna ngasai kano da Delhi da su Arvind Kejriwal hoina with a revolutionary jill namga yauna kamain tawdana praja da reach out tawbadagi hese akoi tabirenda mayamna CM bo hainadri husi foundly civil society gi mina su tabiren kauri press ki mayamna su tabiren kauri wari bo haijariba magi government says da adugumba praja ga nagna chatpa aduga praja gi apamba se fazana tabado oiraksanu aduga yamna afaba lenga ka mo oiraksanu hoina khanjai taseng haibu huji mak madui potu yam critically examine the ubhaudi ketang nganmal libra haina khale adugi goodwill dumadi express tor podumakti akho yam appreciate tawji haita
okay goodwill am express tor pag mami tare masigi dr lebang miam su appreciate tawri adu matang sai sidai oja priyan dulak chani si oja gi su kari mo lebibge aduga maru na handak si chief minister natrag anoba game lak padagi minister mayam si su aduga chief minister masamuk su haita tongan ba organization mayam sina okpagi thorom pangthoi ar okpa thorom se taseng okpaga loina na makhoi gi oiba demand sing su push to yauri unaba su chali unaba sapata su masam sa gi demand yam su push tawri maram sum mayam si yamal laktana masi tha godingi tarik tra manga si people's day na thamse ka na work ko su ram do male ozagi di kari miyang libi
ai na masi haje taragadi hujik tawriba MLA sing
the minister sing na hek karaga huge amount of enthusiasm utliba as if there is a competition among our representatives and the ministers. Enthusiasm ki competition among the prajada uye.
Okay.
This is one sad thing. Ani subadana in haijaning isi aikoi India su democratic nation among oiraga su we are not in a yam advanced with democracy ki stage am dira koi laite haijari. Manipur dan amoke nan anem thakta leigre. Aduna in spite of each constituency representatives ministers the question of meeting the people every 15 days or even daily Modi naga tawdiba sa these are symptoms of institutional failures where akoi own representatives sing people you wishes sing samagi constituency the unare heraga or another of the man rit tawre heraga legislature the purakpagi culture the wing mo leitri So in fact, it is a sign of our own failure of the legislative institutions. Simai thamjage. Adagi amana democracy ki one of the weakest point is that after 5 years, nangi accountability se karino harpa matamda people in India or democracies like India, they am kaw bukum tawe heba because aina MLA oiraiba minister oiraiba sa other than your qualities atopa mayam yauri haijariba. So in advanced countries in the D kenai haijariba ada aina thamjani ba point si chief minister da wakat pa every 15 days hairiba sa masi tawiu masi kari kino hada 5 years se praja gi memory si amna short oi haibagi wakhan londa praja bu kauthok pa se adu 15 days or even tham da amuk unabai sina people in touch with the kano se adu chief minister kai khongthang se I would say it is good only if and only if ma na ma ki MLA sing si da hujik BJP government la we are claiming that new culture is there, will be pro people can hide it na adana with due respect aina tamusa ta hygienic is let this 15 days not be a political game. The politics of democracy. Let it not be politics. People say 15 years ke rules ta we are fed up of the type of politics that is coming high na lady when hajariba. Message da 15 days the unaba say let it not be a game of politics. Sima hajari. Number 2 the na how do you structure it? Having matang says da let it not be a tamasha. I must see Manipuri context R.K. Joychandra na mahanapan birumatam ma constituency sige start tawi and we had beautiful meetings. Asida no nonsense. Oigada bado oigani adugum du pusalakano haigada robin hansina. Adigi thab khapagya no do not come to me. So yam the structure of a program sa masi sembire hareraga tobiu. Masajida chingi tamgi issues gi policies gi natatana every appointment ki thika ge laksalak taraboidi it will be unmanageable. The chief minister had many other issues on which mahaki deliberation changi aduna agi motadi let him start once a month but twice a month but at least ministerial single level da let them start at the ministerial level and let the MLAs have their own constituency da madugi oiba institutional structure ma lairagadi praja sing sina at the level of the MLA, at the level of the minister, and as a last resort, Chief Minister Oibatarawi, there is an institutional structure which hujiki political dispensation sina. They are serious about it. Have say system mind thambiragadi people will believe. Natadana Chief Minister tham the amuk unagana haibido madunga sai tamon tak pigiba politics of democracy di madu ane di tadana batobiu. It is a must and hujiki enthusiasm say carry to be high tarbuidi MLA ga or minister gana praja ga samnari base chahi mangal or ga bhot samnab nataba on a daily basis on issue basis se masigi institutional structure ma sembiu then I think CM becoming the last resort apex body the pyramidal in a chat karega mangon de madudadi MLA the su minister su bureaucracy who are going to man his program Moidasu stage by stage filtering to herga he will become a person who will take decisions on only vital issues adu eragadi MLA minister they will feel responsible when the filter oidina la herga total agadi well it will be meaningful I thamsage it's a good move let it sustain let it not be politics
politics when we game of politics and the bida yamna phajaba aduga miyam bu allure to bagi attract to bagi wakalo nata bida taseng miyam bu participate on bagi miyam bu saru yahan bagi wakalo sida adum chahi manga se leptana not only election mamang natana hojik dum chathabi habagi yam phajaba sajjan pibire to ojagi su kitang adoida mod manaba manab khar lebram do male oja sajjan dalak se
India gi constitution itself se the yaurisi preamble da ekoi certain challenges reflect justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Masigi implication itself say when interpretation si torakandi yung batamda it reflects a conflict situation because even Manipur si yamna pikpa hills ki valley ki different communities ki hadna laiba mayam sing sige conflicting interest le aduna governance ki issue sila kumatamda politics of democracy havna chingba praja ki shasan sigi matang sila kumatamda the aspirations ki sing se sida su level se amit tamanadaba sing the lairiba hajik phawbada basic services for yogdriba jaga sing dugi aspirations hope adugi level du khara khenai imphal gi sohor sida leriba larik lai su hairaba well to do families the pokpa angang singi insulated environment lakpa kangu sing adugi aspirations and hopes in a higher level the like plan amada so therefore kari gi damak to constitution da aikona democracy the Indian democracy da justice piga da bani liberty piga da bani hairmi bese so mayam ama leriba port se teinate we know that manada mayam ama leri for example reservation policy hairisi this is positive discrimination to create a level playing field chapmanable level to put hoxin higher kumatam the certain disadvantageous group the leriba community kharadi magoi se upliftment makak changi level to pukalakna bohana bakandani that is why this reservation policy itself continues aduna asumba leriba pot asida conflicting situations se manage to be government ki responsibility ni that apart we have a very major constraint Manipur gumba state the resource ki yamna achoba constantly then how do we meet the aspirations of the people asi port se lapko the resource sikar mane distribute tawni then finally third aspect of governance se shasan to bi matang sila kumatam da implementation dia durgadi policy process ma laikhraba matung da iko implementation karbaina tawni haiba sumaksu it remains a big challenge I agree aduna ikoina hojike high report si it's beyond democracy you have to be very very true to your cause having hojike ikoi professor na hairise and that itself is a good message for all of us ikoi masigi port sida yorer kanda challenge me am se overcome to rakana tobadadi it should be inclusive and then ikoi na policy process si hoba matam da praja gi need kari no haibasi moigi aspiration hope to kangdragadi unless we have that disconnect to address to dragadi aduna ninga sai chief minister na thame ise that disconnect has to go aduna ikoi masidai lorakanda policy process hoge implementation resource allocation borasu modigi porset toge haiba mali ikoi chief minister
kogi demand hai gadra natraga kogi complaint natraga kogi suggestion mayam se loina masi lakshalabo matungda masi kadai fauba natraga kayam thuna speedy keno se mayam pami si address torokdo speedy addressal du madu torokta target miyam na akoina tarik tara manga khudingi government salaga natraga bureaucrats mayam se salaga high rugi kana balai ti habi wafun su tam dam lakto mali mara maduna masoida implementation hai tar mayam dugi complaint du address to bugi implementation speed of implementation se kyam thudo no have su yam chawba role ma play to do mali ado der ko mai to ginu mayam se for example koi Arvind Kejriwal ki case ta complaint tor ko mayam se mana time frame bi masig manung da khodak ta masi implement to godam ni madu tawdragadi action lokani mathangi mi phamda madu lawyer bra lawyer bra have ki cross checking to ni have na chim mayam lai akoi handaki akoi people's day sidikar mong ta to mara
ngasi ki akoi yam dynamic
implementation number 1
chief minister na lead to riba masigi BJP led coalition government se masi yam practical oiba down to earth oiba approach te khoi thajaba adu pam and then immediately ngarang lok thokraba matung da tonight itself this evening itself all the BJP legislators akoi chief minister ga punna nungdang pung 3 ta phaminare kanda aikoi masigi thought process generate to mayam da masida sensitize to ra kan moi gi more chu tagadore and that apart we are also planning to have monthly aikoi gi legislator singi soiba yadaba meeting am kak to ra kan da asumba mayam singa si karmaina implement tawni process si karmaina tawni karmaina resource allocation tawni because competing demands level mafam da when the resource being a constant adugi lakku matam da it's a very difficult thing for the person who is holding the string of the purse madugi pairi ba mi sina karmaina yenga de gesi itself is a chover challenge because we have economics professor here he knows better than us aduna sigi port si lakmatam da consensus building and then again prajagi needs and aspiration do consultative approach some the yana participatory have language ga sinar is among the legislators themselves masigi mechanism ma divide to kan the monthly legislator gi meeting to ba and right it starts from tonight masi horokan dai koi mechanism do adune koi na thangune na is
okay mathang jai oza bablu de lakse oza koi handa gisna probably manipur di ahan bani hai tare samaina miyam na suggestion to jaba yaba participate to ya jaba hai tare koi policy ama semuk matam da sigi chance phangduni tha khoding gi tarik tra wala chala chala miyam na complaint to ba suggestion pi ya duni adubu masigi mamang dare hoji phawda re se manipur da public sing si na miyam si participate to ba phangak ta gi oiduira koi gi isa na group semjaraga na traga koi gi organization mayam semjaraga hai tare masa masa na masa gi arara ma semaga madu miyam da ingadabni haidana koi impose ka torpa mayam yauro isi mase ha na koi gi leiriba koi democratic system na traga governance da miyam si saru ya bo thada bana na kaimda da saru ya phangtabagi मरम हमने खंबिदुरा कमाय अदुगा हंदक किसन गेम चेंजिंग नत्र गेम चेंजर ओइने खंबिरो
ओइनी हेन खनमे महोता ओइनजी हेदना खनमे हेन फगद्रा खले मरमदी ममोदा थादोखरगदी सुम थादोखरगदी ओइरक्तबसु याय अदोंपु कोइ ऑनरेबल एडवाइजर सु लिंसन बिदना सुमाइना मयांगी पार्टिसिपेशन तौबा खंडनैने बदुगा यावबिरइबा सिमक्सु याम फजबा स्टेप हेन लौजे तारे अदंग साइ ताकपिरिबा अखोई पार्टिसिपेट तौबदा नतना अखोई करी करी गोल दा कमाइना अखोई अप्रोच तौनी हैबे पोचददी याम नुंगारे से हंदकी नीति आयोग अखोई हाना प्लानिंग कमीशन लेरमी सिगिसु हुजिक मोगी एजेंडा से हुजिक दी क्लियरली यूनाइटेड नेशंस की सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल तारातरे वर्ल्ड की ओइनसु 2015 दगिनो 2030 भाव सेसदा अखोई वर्ल्ड ने अचीव तौदोरि से कदाइदनो हंगर लौथोकपा एक्सट्रीम पॉवर्टी लौथोकपा inequality मैम लौथोकपा अदगी इवन इंस्टीट्यूशन मैम से फजना लिंखट हलगा कमाइन तौदना अखोई हेना पीसफुल होइबा समाज अमा लाकपा हाइबन चिंबसिंग से सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल हैना UN की ओइनसु नेक्स्ट 15 इयर्स के एजेंडा से सेट तौदन लैग्रे अदुगा अखोई नीति आयोग प्रोजेक्ट प्लानिंग कमीशन की ओइनसु हारिबा पोटसिना टॉप प्रायोरिटी पीदना पंकुई कुइद्रि ngarang nahan da Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation aso madugi kamaina measure tawdoine hoise hojikti madugi parameters sing onthoktrana leire aduna handaki government gi oina di am senga hairabada not only central government da su aduga United Nations gi world gi oina su next 30 years da koi kamaina hairiba policy gi ngasagi fund allocation ngasagi leiriba scarce resources se kadai da thadok gardogino haibasigi framework am leirabaneba masida ngasagi participatory oiba at every level da local national and international level da bawba da masi yam participatory oiba decision making process ama yawgadongni ji goal 16 is the goal 17 sigi mayek sengna pidon leire haijariba aduna hayeng akoina masigi discussion torokpa aduga allocation torok matam se ista masigi sustainable development haidi chumna chawkhat pai ji kaino chawkhat pai ji pura dolan paksa da sabu na teba uwa pagak tak thalaga hayeng akoi climate change toroktana mayam ji hingba yadaba gi phiyom du laktana na ba kamain tawdana masi tawgadagi haisigi international yu ina ngasi di framework ama leirabane hajariba aduga kanona su central government da su masigi potsi yam seriously lawraga masigi parameter leire madugi parameter sing du hekta yengaga hayeng akoi kano se discussion tawdoriba people's DSS da naina doriba se madugi framework te sinaraga tawbu yare hedana lawjai aduna hayeng huren pung 8 ki meeting da su masintang ongtang soidana na ba akoina discussion tawmatam da haidi chumna da tika pibagi pota chathandagragadi pota soirani haijariba kamain tawdana akoina tung koina aduga yam sustain to we aba mongda ngasi ghaktagi wasantaba hayeng gisu khallaga kamaina akoi growth legadan gi habese masi fazana akoi 17 goals amadi 169 targets si manungda kupna mu khaidu oga kamain tawdana akoi world you in a growth se kamain lahan sige he sige framework ama leirabanina masi framework sidum sinna biraga masi akoi next step se dum lawga adum yara drain khanje hoi madugi da asoi angam akoi gi local adjustment ni tangai phadan tawdabi yaroi charak framework amadi leiramina masi masobda dum changhan bigo dum yara
charak framework amadi leire to koi local adjustment se laku matam da koi local gi ba koi manipur dadi yam masing yam ba civil society organization ha gadra mahiroi gi lu ha gadra yam body se leire se ngasai su hangjaki ba koi gi miyam gi kholau se tarak ta badagi anatraga koi gi political process se da miyam gi kholau se vote ha da badagi hena magi room se leire ta bina mayam se thola thola ga mai apam ba niyo mayam ma cm ga mayam se ilana bo honarak injel rak pasumba leire mayam se हंदक की सुमाइना हदी गवर्नमेंट का डायरेक्टली उनबसी की तंजा फंगबनीना मखोई की वॉइस से गवर्नमेंट ताबीरबनीना हाना खोई सुमाइना ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मयाम लेरबसी की मसी की रेलेवेंस का सिग्निफिकेंस तम तम हंधरागा कोई गवर्नमेंट सिदा हेना मयाम से थाजा मदों दो संसंगने खंबीब्रा कमाई यंबिजा
मसी अखोई की प्रजा की अवाना लेबा इनजस्टिस लेबा प्रजा न पेंदबा हाइबसे मसी चीफ मिनिस्टर अमना मागी ओन मथंदन सोल्व तबो ngamba pot natte it is something which cannot be solved by NGOs civil society organizations ai masi maram se kari gina haibada any problem ai se karam kanda tholok ke haibada ai khoi da systemic problems leira kan thorkaduri ne aduna ai khoi gi institutional framework sa masi chumna leira gadi haiba problem sing se thoroi doine complaint ki room se handara kaduri ne say for example अनौब बीजेपी की मुख असैसिदा नरेंद्र मोदी ना अखोई दे क्लास 3 and 4 की रिक्रूट तब मतमदा we will not have a viva हाइना हाइ now this is an institutional mechanism through which people ki complaint kaya ama appointment ta muthakadurine. So it is institutions that is more important than the person who has power. Institution na rules na chap pe hareraga politician singbu bureaucrat singbu makhoi bu direct to the institutional framework da leira kandada magi discretionary power se masi season harega alarm to do lakadabane ba. Now people na thajari basa masi institutional framework se fajara pin people da transparency in government action do people urakaduri ni hairiba aduna any institutional mechanism sembi matamda be very careful hatu lauthopiganova tantra mad unarakani unani aiga people ge grievances tawmina dog haidu ubasa without qualification haidu pigano you have many pitfalls.
Okay,
one example, class 3 ga 4 ga interview loro haramadi now we can lowni hare oza the lowni professionals the lowni adur with karino you are diluting your promise aduga Manipur the lowriba thabak che karidano ba adu the professional hairagadi oza neyam lor ko dorisi professional hadi doctor ni lor ko dorisi what else are we recruiting adu so yam samna hairabada the enthusiasm and honesty and sincerity aikoigi tamusar no utpiribasa let it perlocate into the party and the government. Let them erect institutional mechanisms. That is not the solution to the problems. That is only Chief Minister na rarest of the rare case. Among the field of Nanava mechanism in the Thambio. If you want, Masagi Haibi resource kamai to allocation togani, I think Masagi Minister ma'am, MLA ma'am, pull herga. What is governance about? Parliament actually the training ge. Admaitan, what is the budget about? What we expect you have to say. Akwai Manipur ki political history sida, political classes sida, masigi awareness later maneba. Tamo the haibi ne. You were a top bureaucrat. Did yam rare eramgani minister or MLA sing marakta budget aisi karino, development aisi karino. Akwai program sing you properly understand tauba. Wealth Government of India is centrally sponsored scheme kaya sigi the ideology and philosophy behind it. Karmai to implement tawgani. Masina ingon the long term politically ay hanjan kabigi maram se yauri bani hajariba. But madu puna mukto political class sida madu culture to ngasbaw leirakte. So tamona hybrid sumaina if ako you own MLA sida sensitizing them. I mean vote karak pas alive nate somehow they represent the people, but that is only the first step. Mahak na nasagi people ki welfare amusung akoigi Manipur ki social transformation asesida ay part am yaurugi haibiduna. I'm sure that is the driving force. Nata dana ay mantri orgi MLA ko paisa na haibidu those days are gone. Maji he chahi mangasi chatha biraba BJP will fail.
Okay.
Aduna ay koi no uzari besa BJP is as a party. They are trying to strike roots in Manipur. Roots to strike to bidragadi, you will become any other party like any other party in Manipur. Aduna moves are very good, but considered a step lobby you in hajari sa karigino havida. People are watching you.
Okay.
Because people have some Asama BJP say is different. Watching you say that makes it so much more difficult for you to do things. There will be over expectations in Lakane. Ana Birena and Mitra Manitra, Tamatu Matunde, Karishukana daba, hide na tabdu, Tahan Bidanaba. Every move that you are doing, people see that you are sincere now. People see that MLAs and ministers are Angakpa from the proetic oi. But Karino Tagdurish will last the high. That suspicion though, let that not be there. And I think that is the responsibility of a think tank in the BJP, which people have observed. Under the elections, think tank people say, "We have Congress says, "Can I yes, urum deba? Can I go me expert? This tan bagi wakalon se leram deba BJP lakom atam sida. People see new hopes, new horizons, ma'am uri, and you will be rewarded if institutional structure, your sincerity is sustainable. Okay. I think things are likely to go well. And I just shared we have lived in a dark period for too many years, too many decades. With hope, be it BJP, be it any other party, makhoi na tarapasida positive of the move sing do we must discuss and wish them well.
Okay.
That is, I think, ako intelligence agi duty say. Adun en kali, tamo sir kung advisor giso adu mo duty nen kanjay.
Okay. Adu ko koi BJP sida BJP government sida miyam yam chawba hope amadi expectation sila ibni na BJP na every thabak tok matam da masi kitang chong dringai da yung view have ni look before you leap have gi wafum dani ozan thambiri si adu bu chong dringai da yengu hana sum hajal lai taragadi yengai da muk chong da dana dum lai gidra ayo wafum dani masi lam ngam sung am drasu chong jel mana phabagi wafum su miyam na dum pamdan ba yai on the no brand project ke break matung da makhata na oza hunga hariba people's day ki matang se khana jage break tam thonjra ke impact ni suming ta no lebi back at the Nengbir Basim Manung Hutna 360-degree analysis of news and events with Miraj NONGTHOMBAM Manung Hutna tanga si khana jarbe ba si ngarang Manipur ki chief minister na lauthoki ba tha khoding gi tang tara manga si miyam gi numit miyam ga unabagi numit haidana people's day haidro lathok re hairiba numit asida miyam gi ba suggestion complaint mayama chief minister atai minister singh atai bureaucrats maruina secretary deputy commissioners amadi SP singa unabagi tanjado hairiba numit sida pigani habni adubu hairiba miyoi mayam siga minister mayam siga unaba matamda miyam na pirakadriba complaint mayam si achauba leibaki oiba complaints yorpu yai macha macha personal level da lekai level gi oiba su yorpu yai mata idu da micro level macro level ki complaint mayam si karam karaida piga dono haibagi su madugi police hadi madugi potudi masi madugi tongan ba guidelines haiga dra dugdi sembira ane no jansu tak pire adu micro macro ane maksi lakpa matamda masi kadai phauba address to godri bino micro na kanana to godri bino macro na kanana to godri bino chief minister da su yam apik pa complain ama puraga I chief minister unaduni haiduna complain to duna lakta ragadi adoi da su kios te dum thok tong mali macro micro se dum khaidok pidero jakamai tong
last 15 years under the Congress rule Manipur da thenagriba awabasi many issues lejaragashu one big challenge ekone thenagi huse priorities misplaced.
Okay.
Maramde ekoi gi state sin amsung prajana khwaidi ke hena darkar leriba port se karino havesi madu overlook tore rakanda rule by discretion toning bada tauba. Say for example democracy ki matang si laktring da chanakya na heramba si sovereign power si in one family sida loy namak phangal kanda phaba phatabuna that's a different thing but madugi kudong thiba oirak pa yaba potuni hojiki leri report se one family the report one dynasty the lever tar borde but this particular age sidi this is the age of mass politics name mass politics ki wafam si lakmutam sida ninga sai aina haijakriba popular sovereignty ga have report si through different existing institutions da makhona ventilate to ba hopes and aspirations to bagi masida weaknesses khara leibasi aikoina hyped feel torok padagi masai gi prioritization si phajana tawdragadi yaro haiba port si lakpanina on the other hand aina mamang da haije khidubana resource ki constraint chu leibanina aduna hojikte aikoi si planning process hojikti yamna change tore the evolving scenario is masai bunga BABLOO na so haiba dumaina hana plan gi paisa khara ni hedan heta pulap ne state ki discretion da magi treasury to the thok hapchila kan da swai da yening mamong da pangyen yen badu natra objecti it will be need based central sponsor schemes kain tora kan da aikoi gi lamdam masigi praja singi darkar leiba porto what people really need have a porto and what we can really afford have si port si yenger kan da yamna balance ek basanara kan da plan gi policy gi process se adumai na sikti sangsil lakadoreba aduna project wise scheme wise yamni specific way but outcome oriented way makhal gi planning process ne hojik sangsil lakadori se
okay
and there matam dudani aikoina praja sing gi need se karino moi aspiration karino moi apamba karino have se koina khangbasi yamna darkar la en se filtration process soidana makki legani filter tawdana madu yaroi madu gi port tu lak matam da aduna masigi filtration process ki mechanism duni aikoina hojik thambakani aduna ngasai ina haijari ba port se adu hojik kwaidagi luriba port si ekoi de lei port si hojik phawbadadi ekoina praja singi grievance mayam se moigi equality porkna bagi justice porkna bagi liberty fanganna bagi fraternity social context the phawbada asi pork toriba mayam sigi it has certain negative dimensions conflict situations se not necessarily insurgency ki context na taba because conflicting interest mayam khak leiba port se masi filtration process ama da tora akanda device ama phajana putho kanda formulate to see policy do haibatara about it, and then given the resources and implementation gi lambi se khone changsil ka dorim hariba adu kari to dagi mechanism se lebata go hojik pau badal leitriba asumba praja singi need sing se ventilate to honbagi
adu prajagi koi complaint mayam natraga need mayam se masi address to nugi damakta koi masi implement tor matam dari sel se dum changani adu da madu sang dori sel dugi fund se tongana masi gi fund lebi ge dra Delhi government gi onadi masi koi mayam na koi atop state singi lene se koi Manipur ki suyauna MLA local area fund haidona local area development fund haidona adu ga Delhi gi case di madu leina koi hujiki hariba miyam gi problem yam se implement to bada खरदोर सुमतेंग पांगनाबे इनिशियल स्टेज दाइदुना कोई सिटीजन्स लोकल एरिया डेवलपमेंट फंड हाइदना मोसी फंड काइथो थमे तोंगाना मोगी कंप्लेन दु एड्रेस तौनोगी दमता अरमाय तौदा कोई रिसोर्स मणिपुर दे फंड लेते हाइबसी तो इना तामलबनिना हंदे कोइन कंप्लेन तौरगसु चीफ मिनिस्टर दा वाकल उरगसु फंड लेके दना कोई सही अमनी दु ngai ले दुरिब जाला अदा इदुरदि तोंगान फंड काइथो पे दुरिब रकमाय तो बिनो
No, it will be a little too early, as we said. Okay. Hajik paubagi there is a policy announcement hojik toba magi wish to mayam no phone dokre. Okay. Now it may take a little while ekoi gi masi formulation se torpo matam duda. Say for example filtration process ne hijack reko because we want priorities properly set over pa me. So depending on the need of the people ekoi gi priorities decide to kodori report se to kan it may not be very expensive, very costly affair karisu oiro. Okay. Only thing is that there should be a mechanism put in place. Madu report to the yamna fazana systematically ngasai gi professor na hai ki bodo systemic failures se later word the many problems ekoi solve torom badum yaba pot ni ga heri ise aduna madu ke system do in place lehna bagi mechanism do ne ba important ori ba pote but point is as ni ngasai haijari do different strata of society si the leri ba mi mayam si needs a different way aduna masi port sing si lagtar word the we have different sectors. We have district administration in many places. Moigi through the su masigi grievance mayam sigi lakani. And we have other democratic institutions like autonomous district councils, panchayati raj institutions are there. So like that, aikoina yam na phajabe elaborate oiba makal gi filtration process ma prescribe formulate tore rakanda. Once it becomes in effect, madu por pamatung dagidi, then we come to know that okay, these are the priorities which we can afford to implement, consider, given the resources available with us. Asi reports in a way when la padul.
Adu idro uzan tak kita koi gram panchayat ke level, block level, natraga koi ADC ke level, swagi level se dari iban koi gram panchayat ke gram sabha pang thok da koi miyam ki misam miyam ki participation yam ne me hai tare. Adu nati ma koi complaint se adu ke level da PU so hai tar gadi yam na chaning da ba phau ye MLA unaruduini minister unaruduini hai de mi se gari ma pota paire perga mayam se interest ya ubhai tare. Complaint to ruduni hai target mayam se adon chaning bagi mamim di tadong mali ado ida komai to binu
BJP is a party with a difference. BJP led government will automatically become a government with a difference. Okay. Madam as I said, this is that of mass politics and high risk. Narendra Modi believes in development politics. BJP believes in development politics. Aduna masigi port se lakpakandani ekoina mass politics edna changsila akanda. And the recent election to the Equina Praja Singh the promise toki. And again, when we seek their mandate, Equina seek to Bomatam the Makoi the Equi the peak report say, change a report say, we are going to bring change for the better. Aduna Praja Singh said they believe in BJP because this has been demonstrated by the government at the center. See ports for example, we talk about Manipur or North-East for that matter. Earlier we have been talking about look-east policy. Narendra Modi immediately steps in and says that you start acting east. See podcast. So we are demonstrating by action.
Okay, action na thabak na yam bot kani habni. Patang says that lakatori ba koi People's Day miyam gi forum miyam the chance ma pir opportunity pir ba masigi People's Day gi concept sida oja BABLOO gi site su samaj torogati he na miyam da convenient oi banatre miyam gi problem miyam gi suggestion miyam si government da yo buda nungai ni kari suggestion di oja gi site gi thamini
Huzik akhoi anouba sarkar si tha phadri natra aduna mongom da haragadi si honeymoon period ne lau si aduna yam he na khoina critical oi basu khra wari kaino da magi anouba magi kaino si power structure haigadra magi lairiba kaino si it is just being formed tabu to khoina khitang amuk cynically yeng taragadi nahan for example anti corruption cell ama hang to ek hai but there were anti corruption gi damakta laiba institutions khara leirami ba babu vigilance ki leirami ba lok ayukta gi leirami ba adugi institutions du strengthen to hongadra aduna tana just cell ama hang to e haraga anoba ama thole di haraga aduna master kanodi hope amadi generate tawba aduga ngasagi institutional backup to york tragadi ma function to yar oidra haibagi akiba kharasudum layeba natra aduga amarom da ngasagi people's day hairaga mayam says the mobilizing factor amadi layraga grievance mayam dil tawnabagi damakta han leiramiba institution for example Manipur Human Rights Commission poor men's court edana mayam torop kanu to bangam da court sa pangam da mayam duna satpa yawagi institution unfortunately mamangi government na pura madu defunct tawdan lehelle madugumbaga du revive to holapusu darkar oibra hoi 15th ta unaba people gi kanu to bhai se masi mayam se khanabasu agenda mo hen bam to ever haidi people like say people ni aduga people like say everybody is a people aduna people khudi maki ngache thumjet ki wari da dum tauthagidana adagi laikai gi MLA na tawdo pot mayam du chief minister laksalaga pot to agenda yaudana chaotic oiba pot na tholokpai mahutta institution mayam se kamaina fazana function to hongani aduga hairiba redressal mechanism mayam ma people gi grievance mayam se dil tongnana ba huren bapu MLA da point am hairo minister da point am hairo madu note to hobuna tana hekta khudakta implement to ya doribra haibana chingba singsi akoi fazana dil to ma darkar oi adu ba do loin tok thoga face to face interact tongnaraga people gi pulse khangbagi pot phawudadi yes very good but this has to be backed up this has to be backed up with institution me amse firming up to darkar oi adumakpu tha phadriba ministry se akoina gorong gorong hita changsilaga eno torubusu khitang di normally but let us wait and watch and let us give them the benefit of doubt 15 years Queen Palakpa Congress ki suffocating oibe environment dagi anova refreshing oibe change khara lakpase masi akoina welcome tawraga akoi huziki anova government sina masigi hairiba people gi needs takpiriba du maina madu fazana absorb tawraga madu policy da madu implement tawrak paido oisunu haiba wakhan si oina thamjage adu hekta yadoribra yarodoribra haibisidi it's too early ngarang de announce tawdang ai ngasi khanadori magi mechanism do ngasi khanariba mayam ngasi impact tv su mayam tabiramaga huji ozana pibiriba idea sing akoina khara vomit out tawjariba idea sing sisu khara 15 days ngai bi mohoto huji adum tabiro huji okta khanabadi yawn view haibidori akoina 15
days ngai bi mohoto ngasi sen ahan ba day oraga haitare oza priyoranjan dalak se ozagi ozana suggestion mayam di pibi khre atu hoje pu ordi ozagi oza haiba ki ba chief minister da direct yahon bagi mohota khogi filtration hai gadra tonga tongan ba khoi pyramidal form da makha dagi mathak mathak top ta sapudna phani ne takpira du khogi chief minister naga public ka yamna punba myam ga wari chana ba khoi people's chief minister gan hai ba yamna kitang participatory oi ba hana leram buduna traba yamna hierarchical oi ta ba yamna lateral form da myam ga dum interact on ba myam gi chief minister ga da mai oi ba si madu adudi kama adugi idea dari komai kan bi natraga to mai myam yam pullaga na masi khogi granted oina longnar pa mai oining kan bi komai to bi
no myam ga pun ba hai it is essential
okay
haidi maduna people's representatives grounded oiraktaba
okay
myam ga punda da na haibisne ba grounded oiraktaba se MLA na mai constituency chatraba aduga any minister amna magi dex thabak sui mo to on the ground what is happening to the bridge lambi do kamai to yeng da baduna so you need to be grounded just to remind you that ain't to wisi prajagi na haibdo adugidi the idea is good but see 15 days the meeting haibise essentially what does it mean that we people as a political class have been out of touch with the people and I'm thinking of an institutional mechanism whereby me say alive to high bineba must I point ahum saigi tamusara ka bablung high bi haijege ko which is very important first let the institutions which we already have function institutions sing say these institutions have been corrupted other institutional failure la puneba let the institutions work new institution ama pusan bir kena khandringai mamangda hanagi institution sing do they have a drawback why do we need a new institution so let the institutions already functioning let them function those which have been killed madu amutang revive to view sima number 2 given the institutions, tamuna hai bigre beto. Needs, need based. Have we identified the needs? Akoi ki political class na what are the needs I say? Yamna personal oiba electoral oiba mong da need based identified. Tau given ba. Ngale at whims plan the chattaba. Unplanned expenditures. Maduna neba koi da fiscal problem la iba se. So needs things identified to be. First, secondly, let the institutions function. Let the needs be identified. Adugi needs to properly identified tawra kandada. You will be able to prioritize. The issue of prioritization doesn't rise. It has never, almost never risen in the last so many decades. Prioritization issues because needs were never properly identified. Adan hojik niti ayog la ibasa message the planning commission ka doles pibagi paisa pibagi ki mahutta a think tank that helps every state if they want to identify the needs. Need to identify the nangi all local people, your universities, your think tanks, build capacities. Manipur government in the last 6-7 decades our own intelligence, our own people say must be seasonary build their capacities or the needs identified. Imagine Manipur University has been this is capacity building for us, political class, yes, high ben so Niti Ayog sina enforce to niko, it would have gone to a consultancy. So Niti Ayog is a think tank which aikoi own state ta capacity built over ama. Number two, if in case of many technical and other problems or matter of time gibutung a problem where agdi Niti Ayog itself can help us identify the needs. Now needs identify toro matung da Niti Ayog sina nangi need to concretize to. Now what sort of a project do you want? Ngasi bahag the Manipur ki projects in kita mo the experience ni any project which was based on without disrespect ka bureaucratic oiba pota chalu reherga it was thrown out se yamna yami hajariba. So what Niti Ayog is saying is think it over. If you want, we'll give you the help. Identify the projects. If that is good, money will be no problem. Nangoda nasagi plan poche chatkredam. Aduna adgi central grants ta or in terms of a centrally sponsored scheme ani se sanar kadurim hajariba. So aikoi need identify tawrakan the projectize tar kadurim bata. So do akoi ki political class me legi tere maram dedi aikoi ki finance minister ka finance ki budget khang na yam hajariba ta mo. Let us be honest. What is it? Aikoi na national media the uri when a minister comes on his subject, he is equally an expert as a university teacher. Madugi stage am waliko. But let us be honest. Aikoi ki priorities of fajana identify tawra matung dana proper. There will be low lack of funds. Niti an pigani tabudu. Let me people's interest ohen bioba. Nasai politics of democracy do. With due respect, amoko, I am misusing your word, but let us forget the politics of democracy. Let us remember the politics of the people. Needs to identify tabudo. Madida take into account nasai people's participatory approach. I will say Vision 2020 Northeast I say sociological and political roots are quite different. Ad masida people since choices should tau people do participate tau high beneva masa itatan hijrim ni this model may not work but we have to do upay lete akoi to butai so amo yam samna harebada need to identify to matam da let us not be political. Number one, politics system automatically lakani when you have the funds then do the politics. Before having the funds, if you do politics, funds should not come.
Akoi na hangai tawromiba planning gi models di akoi na tajabada akoi manung changna di urude adung pu nit base to na grit base to we problem yawe aduna thikadar amana magi project tanana baida mukta center da chatlaga tanaraga adu su lawraga percent bagi pot is da mi kharagi grit ta sum chatkidana pot se people gi ordinary people gi needs di sum kauthuam buduna maram oidana pot se sum isolate tor koi pot am layeba aduna handaki governments na di akoina kanna appeal to ningi se need of the common masses se hujiki 15 days ki interactions is da madu absorb toraga madu hayeng akoina phajana policy formulate toraga madu implement tongna ba hona view masigi 15 days ki pot se masigi need assess tongna ba need to first hand kanoma pulse ma khangnara be dong ta sinna ꯆꯠꯅꯕꯤꯌꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ appeal ꯇꯧꯖꯅꯤꯡꯉꯤ
probably tarik taramangagi khoi miyam onabagi su masisu need se understand tawbagi measure tawbagi ata tanjam adum logdom male need understand tawbi habni miyam gi and madu prioritize tawbiraga hanadagi lejarmi ba khoi gi institution miyam se functional onbu adu targeti mase khara gen web aroiba koi kano response oza dagi logjagi oza miyam su ton ton tambiri maroina hanagi institution miyam nahona na hingalan ba aduga mayam gi apam ba khangdu pase masi matang dari maruina hanagi institution ma'am hingalan mesi si kari respond to winning
the change is already happening hajik ekhona thamjagri si BJP is a party with a different services so in hajak why I'm saying this ekhogi strength se new government sigi strength si even in the national context
okay
ekhoi think tank kaidanga sai professional pan give se so that institutional mechanism is already in place Aikoi is the discretion the rule to one at the bang as I grit ma grit na influence to kanda plan to be high opportunity. Aikoi the experts in the resource persons in the think tank to the yam grilling over yam no one sang no more than nine matung the end. Maduki vision namakak makoina tamakadori said need base over as I adunani as I this is the age of mass politics sending as I agree.
Okay.
Why people are being invited? Praja Singh la kanda different levels the different offices the makogi grievance mayam ma expression mayam ko phongdo ba matung da we will come to know what is the real need of the people masigi port se lak matam sida people fortunately that change is already happening we are into a transition now and that transition is taking place very smoothly
okay
aduna yam sangdraga su ekoina hojik toriba port si institutional mechanism de koi thajai and again we rely on think tank
okay
discretion da ngasai gi sahi manga gi karakpa or newcomer kharana decide to bunataba grit na influence to bunataba then people gi need to na maram were kanda maduna input or kanda same bamakal gi vision duna porkadu porni so therefore two major players ne khoi gi BJP government sigi strength oiri ba port se masi karino hebo amana ai khoi gi mass politics eba people ne yauksil lakse praja singh sin ai khoi gi strength wherever maram they are giving us the input akhoi darkar leba pura maximum akhoi dege akhoi khangba lora kanda filtration process am kak tori basina through that think tank makhoi gi advice makhoi gi vision mayam se but again that implementation se praja singh need mayam se thabak to on thorok matam da ikone vision nam change ba that vision is represented by the political leadership in power aduni ngasai gi vision se and that ngasai gi leadership se kanana back to we hai kanda behind him or them collective leadership ne su khalasi madugi matung du da yamna giant resource person kara figure kara makoina yamna we call it rather intellectual philosopher king hainelsi intellectual sing we call them philosopher kings makoina masigi direction se realignment tamakak period kanda that change is going to happen and Manipur will witness it sooner than later.
Okay, Manipur miyam na soy na hari ba change uragani habani adubu akoy na sutoy na haijaba Manipur gi miyam na pami basi change khakta natte change to the kanamta na kemta tawdraga su masa matanda lakani maramaduna Manipur gi miyam na pami basi probably change natte progress ni hari progress si athu matam na miyam na witness tawdong male on then on ngasi ko na di manu hungi thamsi matang sadlo chenjar ngasi thamsi da Oja Sharachandra, Oja BABLOO amadi Oja PRIYORANJAN lengri tana thorom siba thawai happy kiba amadi mapung phan bigi tamakta Oja humbu amukana thaga chok cheri appreciate your joining.
Thank you very much.
Masini ngasi ki manu hungi tharong ngasi ki edition se karam to bibe khode khan bir pe agane ko email id impacttvnews@gmail.com natraga khogi Facebook page www.facebook.com/impacttvmanipur da join to biraga comment amadi feedback tha bir pe agane. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us from the other side of the screen. Until next time, this is NONGTHOMBAM signing off. Kurumjan.